And joining me all the way from Central Otago, you've brought the sunny weather with you, Amy Scott. How are you?
Excellent, thanks Megan.
Thank you for joining us on Good Living. We're going to talk about your program Get Dotted because it's taking New Zealand by storm as a really effective communication tool, isn't it?
It surely is, and I guess the exciting thing for me is it doesn't matter whether people are young or old, or wealthy or not, or whether they're truck drivers from Temuka or CEOs in Wellington. It hits everyone.
And that's the incredible thing about it. Just from reading about the experiences that people have had, everybody finds something in your program.
It's amazing, and it's such a privilege to be doing it.
Yeah.
So much fun.
We can tell that.
I'm so excited.
Now, first of all, Amy, talk to me about how all of this started for you and a little bit about your background.
Okay, oh goodness me. Well, I'm from Central Otago. I'm actually a lawyer, or a liar, lawyer by trade, and I practiced for 7 years, mostly here in Christchurch actually, and then I headed off overseas, and unfortunately I was only away for a short time before my dad got really badly injured. So I had to get home in 48 hours. He'd been dreadfully assaulted by a young 19-year-old, and
that would have changed your life.
It actually has, and that's brought me on this journey in terms of when I got home, my dad will never work again. He is seriously head injured, but he's doing he's doing really, really well from what they thought he would do.
Yes, that's great.
And so while I was back home in Ranfurly, we had a number of tragedies in a really short period of time. So we had 3 youth suicides, we had a car accident where a young male driver was left head injured and killed his girlfriend, and for a small town of 800 people, it just affected everyone. So while I was at home, I pulled together this Get Dotted training, which I'd been using in a corporate sense, and turned it into a community event, and it's had a huge impact in towns throughout Central Otago. So we've now, we've dotted Ranfurly, we've dotted Alexandra, Roxburgh, Wanaka. We're hitting Queenstown and Balclutha in a couple of months. So it's awesome.
My goodness. So when you were home, was there any point that you thought, okay, that's it for me for law, but I obviously want to do something to help other people?
Pretty much. But yeah, while I was at home, I just really, I was home supporting mum and dad, and I just felt that I could give so much back to the community, and I went along to a community meeting which was hosted by Victim Support, and Victim Support would say, they're an amazing organisation.
They are.
They would say that for one sudden death, they could be supporting up to 60 people. So in this small town of 800, everyone was affected, and this gorgeous girl called Beth Summers stood up, and she was 15 at the time, and she said, look, we don't have anywhere warm and safe to hang out. We don't have a youth centre. We know it annoys you adults that we hang outside the fish and chip shop, but where can we go? And at that point, I was quite inspired by her courage. So I stood up and I said, look, I would love to help you raise money for a youth centre, and actually, how about we pull together the entire community, and that's how we'll do it. So we raised 32,000 in 10 weeks.
Congratulations.
Well, look, it's these beautiful kids in the community. That's Central Otago.
Yeah.
We're very lucky.
Yeah, you are indeed. So talk to me about then the process. Obviously you decided to work out this program, which effectively then you wanted to get into the communities. But on what kind of basis? Like, had you had experience with the program before in your years as a lawyer? Obviously?
I had actually. I practiced mainly as a family and criminal lawyer. So I guess I certainly saw the effects of miscommunication, shall we say, at a very real level. So while I was practicing, I actually did this course in Christchurch, and Get Dotted, or Dixon's Dots, was created by a New Zealander called David Dixon. He's an incredible man. He spent 20 years pulling together the dots really. He looked at a whole lot of personality profiling and communication models, and in true Kiwi style really went, get rid of the fluff. It really comes down to these 4 different dots, and we're all a mix of all of them. So I guess the benefit is that not only is it a simple model, it's still meaningful. So people pick it up really quick, and once people are aware of why they think and act the way they do, they can't be unaware.
Right, okay.
And so suddenly people have this fantastic understanding of how people are different, and a whole lot of stress just honestly falls out of your life. You just don't
Seriously?
Honestly, Megan, you just don't get caught up in any of that rubbish anymore.
Okay, so can you talk to, because we'll continue this of course after the break, but before we go to break, can you just tell me a little bit about kind of maybe a couple of the main principles behind Get Dotted, how it works?
So basically the important thing is it's about people getting onto other people's wavelength as quickly as possible. So you can communicate effectively with them. So when you have an understanding of whether you're a purple, yellow, red or blue dot, you have this immense understanding of self and of others around you. So for example, if I was talking to a red dot, they don't want any fluff.
Okay.
How was your day, honey? Fine.
That's it. That's a red dot?
They are not going to go into any more detail because it's not logical for them to give you the information about their day.
Okay.
So what happens is you hear in organisations people saying things like, oh, don't be so red about this. So it removes that personal element around any miscommunication.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look, I've got so much to tell you.
Well, do stay with us because after the break we'll find out more about dots, the colours and what kind of dot you might be, and also how you can implement this particularly in your workplace. That's a vital part, isn't it?
Absolutely. And families.
And families as well.
Oh, yeah.
The whole spectrum. So do stay with us. Amy Scott is with us after the break.